mean, look, I think my job is to go and tell them what I believe in and then let it fall. I've never been one that just goes where it's popular. I've always spoken my hard truth. And so I think people have been very respectful about it. And I've had many people after the debate, after our town halls, that say they agree because they understand I'm the military spouse. The last thing I want to see is my husband go to war. And when they realize that if Russia takes Ukraine, then Poland and the Baltics are next, and then we are in war because those are NATO countries, then they understand that this is about preventing war. And I will always talk about prevention of war. Well, you just made my case for exactly why that win for Ukraine is so important, because China's watching. And if Ukraine wins, it sends the biggest message to China not to go into Taiwan. The one thing that Russia and China were so fearful of when I was at the United Nations was a strong military. We need to build up our military so strong that they never want to touch it. We need to let China know that there'll be hell to pay if they touch Taiwan. So are we going to defend Taiwan? We will do whatever we need to defend our friend the way we're defending Ukraine. And look at the fact Taiwan wants us to defend Ukraine. Why does Taiwan want us to defend Ukraine? Because they know that if Ukraine wins, China walks away and doesn't invade Taiwan. That's why there is a consensus among free democracies to make sure that we finish this, that we finish it quickly and we send a message to the enemies that want to destroy us. I would send special operations to go and take out the cartels. That's very specific. It's just like what we did with ISIS. It's just like what we do with terrorists, is you're very specific on where those units are, where the cartel is doing the production of the fentanyl, and you go and you wipe that out. So we would do special operations on that, not a standing military force.
And could that occur without the consent of the Mexican government at the time?
Well, first you go to the Mexican government and you say either you do it or we do it, but you don't wait. I mean, how long do we have to wait? We had 75,000 Americans die last year, and China knows exactly what they're doing when they send it over. So we go to China and we say, we're going to end all normal trade relations with you until you stop killing Americans. That'll fix it in a big way on their side. But then you go to Mexico and you start taking out those cartels. We're not going to wait. We're not going to let any more Americans die because people are waiting on Mexico. No, either they do it or we do it, but one of us is doing it. It's a responsibility that we have. When Americans are not safe, that means you've got to step up. The president has one job, and that is to make sure that he or she keeps Americans safe. Biden is not doing that. We see that with an open border. We see it with the lawlessness all around us. We have to go and get law and order back in this country.
Should a jury convict Trump of a serious crime, would you feel comfortable for him knowing that a jury, not the Justice Department, but a jury of 12 Americans considers him to be a felon?
I mean, I'm not going to get into that because there's a lot of ifs before we get to that. He's been charged. He has the right to defend himself. I trust jurors to go and listen to the information and make that decision. Let's let that fall out. We've got a long way to go, and we've got 4 or 5 court cases that are going to happen, but he has the right to defend himself, and I think we need to let that play out. I mean, I will vote for the Republican nominee because the Republican nominee is better than a President Kamala Harris. But I trust the American people that they're going to vote for the right person. I think it's going to be me. I don't think they're going to vote for someone who's been convicted of a serious crime. So let's wait and see what happens. They don't ask me about January 6th. They don't ask me anything else. Yesterday, if you had gone to the town hall, they did ask about Trump and me and policy comparisons. And I told them, just like I've said before, Trump and I disagree. He thinks January 6th was a beautiful day. I think it was a terrible day. I think that he overspent and allowed all of this crazy spending to happen on his watch, and I think it's put us in a situation that I don't think our kids are going to forgive us for him. We've got to get our economy back on track. I think he did a good job bringing Republicans and Democrats together about China, but he only focused on trade. He didn't focus on the infiltration that was happening across, the entire country. I think that he used to be right on Ukraine when he sent them Javelin missiles early before Russia invaded. I think that he's gone weak in the knees when it comes to the fact that he now thinks Russia should have Ukraine. So I'm happy to talk about any policy issues with him. I'm not going to talk about personal issues with him because I don't have a personal issue with him. I never have. Putin is going to North Korea to get missiles, which shows he's hit rock bottom. But Kim Jong-un has a decision to make. What we will very much say is we see what's happening with them and with China and with Iran. And so I think the focus needs to be on the fact that we know what they're doing. We're not going to let them have it and go from there. But what I don't think a president should do is they shouldn't be weak like what Biden has done, trying to appease Russia. And I don't think they should be friendly like Trump has done, trying to be friendly with Kim Jong-un. You don't do that. The way you stop bad people from doing bad things is you have to show strength. American strength keeps the world safe. When America's distracted, the world is less safe, and we see that happening under Biden's watch. I don't play for second.
Okay.
I'm playing to win it. I'm going to finish it, and then we're going to get our country back on track.